Hello, people. Once again, you are welcome, and this is an opportunity to be on my channel. And if you are here for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, share. It goes a long way in helping us. And before we go ahead, this world, there are lots of things that are happening, and there's a lot of news we're going to talk about today. And our talking point for today will be first, Gen Z's growing interest in financial advice. Ontario couples call for law reform. In what? With law reform? We'll find out. Kanye talks security guarantees. Canada needs to catch up with US on job creation. And finally, City of Winnipeg requiring electrical permit for security camera. And let's get right into the groove. And today, oh, financial advice is one of the most important things in the world right now, because in the world we are living today, you just have to spend your money right, or else you are going to suffer for that. And looking at the world now, people just they spend money just anyhow. And at the end of the day, something goes wrong because the way you see it, and that's the way you spend it. And that's what most people do. But a good trend is happening right now. Young adults, teenagers, they are stepping up, seeking advice and putting them into practice. And here we'll be talking about the Gen Zs. Says they are growing interest in financial advice and investing. Well, by what? Social media. So not everything about social media is negative. Social media, to some extent, is good. It's helping someone. And this goes out not just to Gen Zs and young adults, everybody concerned. Try as much as possible to seek financial advice so you live a better life. When you are 80, 90, 100, you won't suffer. They said a young teenager, Matthew Robertson, as soon as he turned 18, he set up a tax-free savings account, downloaded personal finance apps on his phone, and started listening to podcasts to plug himself into the stock market, because that's a very legitimate way of making money. I have it on my phone too, because $10 here, $20 here, just literally the money, they go a long way. You'll be surprised. There was a time I remember I invested like, I think it was $100, and after many months, I just looked at it. I was surprised when I saw I think close to 700. I was wondering that I think I put this in, until I went to check my transaction. I discovered that this money has grown, and this teenager, a young adult, is making a good thing about that, because before you know it, in the next 10 years, you'll be surprised about how much you got. Now, Robertson, he was 18 there when he started. Now he's 20. Said finances are partially a personal interest in project, but it's also learned to pay attention out of necessity as a postgraduate student navigating an affordability crisis. Of course, looking to our future, we kind of have to take finances into our own hands. Nobody's going to do it for you. You just have to do it yourself. You have to set aside something, because funny enough, there are days that you spend $40 here, 100, 200, 50, 20, 10, and all those months, you just spend it maybe by impulse. And those money, if you put them aside, it goes a long way. And the next maybe 3 years, 5 years, you'll be surprised about how much you have gotten, how much it has appreciated. They said across the country, Gen Z is taking an increased interest in ways to leverage their earnings as the cost of living continues to soar. Things are not getting cheaper, and that's why you have to use your brain. Things are not getting cheaper, things are getting more and more expensive, and that's something that we all can learn from. try as much as possible to set out something on the side. And before you know it, you'll be surprised at what you get. Financial education doesn't have to be overwhelming or abstract, but rather provide base knowledge on topics such as budgeting and investing. So those two, they go along. Try as much as possible to budget, plan towards that. It goes a long way in helping you because at this time, things are getting expensive, and setting aside money, have your own personal form of investment. If it's the TSFA, tax savings free, if it's RRSP, a personal one, just do something apart from the one you are doing when you are working at the group, the one your employer is creating for you. Do yours also. And starting being financially knowledgeable at a very young age goes a long way. For somebody who's starting at maybe age 15, 16, setting aside something, you will be surprised at what you gain by the time maybe you turn 40. And it's just that putting that mindset into it. If you put your mindset into it, I promise you, you will be surprised at what you get at the end of everything. And on to the next story, we'll be talking about a couple in Ontario wants the law to change. They said an Ontario couple whose teenage son died after 8-hour wait in AR calls for law reform. And an Ontario family is calling on the provincial government to introduce a legislation that will set maximum emergency room wait times for children after their teenage son died following an 8-hour wait for a doctor in a hospital last year. Yes, in Canada right now, it's crazy. The waiting time, you won't believe it. I remember when I came into Canada newly, the first time I went, I was thinking, that 8 hours, what does it mean? Because I was confused that 8 hours, more than that, you wait for hours. At the end of the day, depending on the patient, you might still not see a doctor. If you have that patience, at the end of the day, you see them. I remember when my son had an ear infection, and I told my wife, let's just go wait in morning and go visit a clinic. Waiting here at the emergency, it will take ages. I remember we got there around 11 p.m. and he didn't see the doctor until 5 a.m. I think, was it 6 a.m.? That was like 3, 4, 5 years. No, 5 years ago. It took him hours before he finally saw it. And it's crazy. And here, somebody, after waiting 8 years, they still lost their child. I remember when my daughter had an accident, had a cut. We waited there for hours. But I guess maybe because in emergency, there are different classes. So maybe that's the way they saw it. They came, they looked at her, got her information, and we didn't see the doctor. We were there around 7, yeah, or 6, 7. And we didn't see the doctor till maybe around 11 or 12. Can't remember again. It's been a long time. So the waiting time, it's crazy because maybe because it's free health, I still don't understand. And when we talk about free health, there's some things that are not free, which you still have to pay for. So it's crazy. That's waiting out. So there should be a law. I support this couple. There should be a law put in place to deal with emergency because people are just dying just like that. And you discover that the long wait time is not acceptable. Something must be done to cut these wait times. The moment you come into the hospital, you just see it on the screen there. The wait time is 12 hours. Your wait time is 11 hours. Your wait time is 10 hours. It's not acceptable in a developed country like Canada. It should be. I don't know if another country. I've never been to another country. The healthcare for another country, but I know where I am. That the wait time is unacceptable and something must be done. So this couple are in Ontario. Same thing. should be applied here in Manitoba to where I am. Something should be done about all these crazy wait times. It's just crazy. You can't fathom why people have to wait that many hours. Also, can a top security guarantee? So the Prime Minister of Canada is in talks with Zelensky in Ukraine, and this is a war that personally I'm not just interested. I don't want to hear about it. This war will come to an end. There's no advantage in war. There's no good thing in war. There's no There's nothing good coming out from it. People are dying daily, and the focus should be on how to end the war. And that's what Trump is trying to do, even though some people are still against him about it. I still don't know what some people are getting from it. Maybe they're getting paid, or of course the military industrial complex wouldn't want the war to end because that's an advantage to them. But I personally, there's no amount of security guarantee or whatever. This war should end. And if it means putting some things in place to deter maybe Russia in the future or whoever, fine and good. All I'm interested in is this war to come to an end. And this Canadian Prime Minister saying it's possible he might provide Canadian troops. That's BS. Your focus, your goal should be how to bring this war to an end completely. Then we can later talk about security guarantees. That should be the focus now. This war, what should be done to bring it to an end? That's all. Any other thing, it's just, to me, it's just a waste of time. I'm still talking about Canada. Somebody is saying just the way Americans ask President Trump using his power, his might to create jobs for the US, we also here in Canada should be doing the same thing. That should be our main focus. But according to it says Canada needs to catch up with US on job protection. Yeah. Just like some people are against Trump, oh, he's doing this, he's fighting for his own country. We should do the same too for our country too. We should fight for our own country. That's the most important thing. We need good jobs. Good, not just good jobs, good paying jobs. And as much as possible, that should be the goal of the government, to try as much as possible to bring more jobs into Canada instead of shipping it out, or everything should be done here in Canada. Then nobody will have to bully us, or nobody will have to make us to pay some unnecessary tariffs, because once we do most of those things here ourselves, then we'll be at the mercy of whoever is out there. Let's create more jobs, good paying jobs, and let's make them in Canada here right now. Gregory Robertson, the minister responsible for the federal agency that helped fund a BC Ferries contract to buy ships from China, says Canada needs to catch up with the United States when it comes to protecting domestic jobs and the economy. And that's it. Buying ship from China, we should be able to do those things here ourselves. And lastly, we will be talking about the city of Winnipeg and a very funny law that has been in place. According to them, it's been in place. And by the way, if you are still watching at this point, please, if you like our video, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like, share, comment, your suggestions. Because let me know in the comment section, what do you want us to improve in? It goes a long way. So coming back to Winnipeg, the city of Winnipeg says they are requiring electrical permits for security camera installations, catching business staff off guard. They need permit to install security. To me, you are not helping the small businesses, because your focus and your goal should be on what are we going to do today to improve small business, to make them stronger and make them grow, not all this series of permits and that. And funny enough, many of them don't realize it. But the government says this law has been there, they're just rewriting it. It's been there for ages. But now, even if it's there for ages, you need a security permit, and that means if you don't have a permit, that's a fine. So my own stand is there's nothing wrong in getting a permit. That's not my point. My point is try as much as possible to make things easier for the small business, because that's where most people are employed, and that's the most important thing. Once the small businesses grow, it affects the economy, not just of the province, of the country in general. Make it something much more better for them. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying with this video. If you love this video, please subscribe, share, comment your suggestions and everything. And until the next video, see you soon.